What's going on, fam? Josh here, back in the dojo. I'm going to tell you why you might be stuck. Emphasis on might, because I don't know you personally at this point, right? And nothing, no content, no video that I put out here on here is like to be taken as the gospel. I'm just an OG that have lived some life, had some experiences, did a couple things in his life. And I just want to share that with those who are receptive to that. But as a creative, right? I know a lot of creatives, we share similar ailments, right? We have a bunch of goals. There's certain things that we want to do. There's certain things that we've done and stopped and started and stopped, stuff like that. So I'm connected with anybody. Anybody can benefit from this video, but I really want to talk to creatives specifically. Over to my side, I've got some notes because I'm turning this into like more podcast form instead of it just being an inspirational video, motivational video, which I never intended any of my videos to be like motivational. I'm sure it'll give some people insight and inspire them, right? But that's sort of like a byproduct. I'm here to just give you some insight. I'm gonna tell you why you might be stuck. The truth is that you're not really stuck, right? Your brain or your creative spirit had just put the brakes on for a minute. And I think there's a few reasons why. And each one of these things I'm talking about, I'm gonna give you an action step because as a trainer, in my past, I've been a personal trainer for a couple of decades. It's my nature to give you an action step instead of preaching at you and telling you what you should do and how to think and all that. I'm going to also give you some action steps to take so that you can start putting these things in play. Right? It's not that you're stuck. You're not stuck. You're just on break right now. Your creativity puts you on break. Why? Well, one major reason I feel like, and I'm a victim of all these things, right, that I've told you about, that I'm about to tell you about. One of the reasons why we get stuck is that we're consuming more than we're creating. And I get it. I talk about this a lot. Analysis paralysis, right? You want to make sure you do your research. You want to make sure, you're putting out the best product as you can. And so what you do is you watch other YouTubers, right? If you're a basketball player, you watch other basketball players. If you're a painter, you absorb from other painters and stuff like that to help refine your skill. And I think you have to do this. No way around this. You have to be inspired. You have to, do what you got to do to get better. But at some point, you're going to have to, the rubber has to meet the road. And I think a lot of times, we'll talk about YouTubers specifically, we watch a lot of YouTube. YouTube is great. I got to be honest. I've learned so many things from YouTube, the creative skill sets and the creative career that I had. I can attribute a great percentage of that to YouTube as far as exposing me to what was out here as far as videography, photography, the tools to get. It's been a godsend. So I get being consumed by your favorite YouTubers. But I think we can get stuck, right? It's called analysis paralysis, where we just get stuck in research mode or inspiration mode or motivation mode. And we're trying to watch these things to help spark this tingly feeling, in our bellies instead of just putting the work forward. And I get it, especially if you want to put great work out, like the people that you follow, they create great work. We got B-roll, the shots are cinematic, text flying all over the place. If you're watching an interview show, they got the big names on the joint and you're like, bro, I don't even have a camera at this point. That's fair. That's fair. But you got to get started, bro. You got to get started, sis. There's no way around it. So watch your stuff. Watch your favorite YouTubers. If you find inspiration from me, I'm happy about that, right? Because I find inspiration from other YouTubers as well. And not just YouTubers, artists, creatives, athletes. I find inspiration from everywhere. But I've realized over the years that the only way I was able to get to the next level is to just get to the next level, like replicate what I've seen them do and then try to create my own voice through that process, right? Because at first I think it's okay to take somebody's skill or something that you admire and try to replicate that. I think that's perfectly fine, but don't stay there after you find their skill or sort of like extract and take your notes and all that. Remix that thing so that the stuff that you're putting out is authentic to you. It was one of my favorite marketers. Billy Jean is marketing. One of my favorite marketers, cool brother. And he was like, the only reason why you don't have the money that you want right now is because you're not making any offers. It's not that the money's not out there. It's not that you can't make money. You're just not making any offers. You're not selling anything to anybody. Let me fix this camera angle real quick. You're not making any offers. It's not that the money's not out there. It's not that the products or services to sell are not out there. You're just not offering anybody any products or services, which is why you don't have the money that you want at this particular point in your life. So it's like if you want that money, like Billie Jean says, you have to produce. You got to create. You can't just buy the products all the time. You can't just buy the notebooks or the courses and stuff like that. You have to create your own and make some offers. So if you want to be creative, whether on YouTube or anything else, produce, create something, put something on the table for somebody to consume, and then take it from there. Continue to consume. That's fine, especially if this is your field, right? You want to see what other players in the game, but you're going to consume less and create more. At the very least, create more. You can consume the same amount, but create half as much at the very least, right? The other thing is, and I get it, we're scared to be mid in public, man. Especially when we first start creating. There's a lot of people, successful people, or relatively successful people in many areas that'll tell you this will be the worst your videos, or this will be the worst your skill set will ever be. Speaking of videos, I think I'm going to keep it tight to like YouTube videos. These first videos, the first 10, 20, 50, whatever your skill set, because people all come in at with different skill set, different levels. These would be the worst videos you'll put out. And not that they'll be bad videos, because you see all kinds of videos, all kinds of quality. Some stuff was shot with iPhones, some stuff shot with, cinema cameras, some stuff shot with, super cinema cameras, whatever, film cameras. These would be the worst videos you'll put out, because your skill set is going to improve as you put videos out. I did a video the other day talking about reps. Reps are the only way we can get better. We can't get better by thinking. Well, we can get marginally better by thinking about stuff. Again, consuming other people's work and stuff like that. But in order for us to really build the skill set and own the skill, you got to put reps in, man. Basketball, YouTube, painting, motivational speaking, teaching, whatever it is, you have to get reps in. Now, I think the hack is to, as much as you can, be passionate, or at least enjoy what you're doing. The reason why I said it like that too, is because, yes, although I do believe in passion, sometimes I feel like it could be overhyped, or may not be as beneficial as you think at certain points along your journey. Let's say if you like to run, for example, right, for exercise, which I love to do. I got to get back to it. The idea of the run the night before is fantastic. I'm like, I'm about to get out there, get some fresh air, get some sunshine, about to sightsee and stuff like that, right? And exercise, take care of my health. That's how it feels at first. But then when I start the run, yes, it's fun, right? I got to, get my lungs and my heart and everything to catch up to the activity I'm putting out. But there's a certain point in the run where it's like, okay, this is not fun, but like I'm in the mix now. Like I'm actually out here now, right? I'm about 2 miles away from the crib. I'm getting into a rhythm, and I have to use these like mind tricks to get me going, right? To just keep taking the next step and keep taking the next step. And if I accumulate enough steps, I'll have a good run for the most part. I'll make it back home and be proud of the mental gymnastics that I had to do, right? That I had my arsenal, and I applied to the run to get through that joint. And I say that to say, on your creative journey, there's going to be points where it's not as fun as it used to be, or the idea, when you first had the idea, you started applying things, put one foot in front of the other. There's going to be peaks and valleys where it's like, man, this is not as fun. This is actually kind of painful, right? This slow process. Other people's things are popping off and going viral. I'm getting 2-3 views per video. What's going on? So similar to that run, where you have to use those mind tricks to get you to just take another step, and eventually, you'll have a good run. It's going to be the same thing on your creative journey. You got to use these mind tricks to push you to the next video, right? Or pull you to the next video. All right. So like the motivation thing doesn't last. You have to have tools, right? And rituals that you put yourself through to get you to take the next step. But you can only do that through repetition, is my point. You can't think it. You have to do it, right? Because once you do these things, you find these nuances, and this is going to be the worst your work will ever be. So you may as well just start putting out work. And it's another benefit too, is that nobody's really watching you at this point. Some people, there's like 2 opinions on the idea of like, well, what if you go viral today and you haven't built a skill set yet, right? Or you don't have a business yet. You don't have a funnel yet, or something like that, to like make money doing this creative thing, right? And I get that. It's like some people like, I'll just ride with it and, build as I go, which I think people who go viral, some people do anyway. But I think there is more benefit to having built a skill set, so that when that one video does pop after you put out 20 or 30 videos. When that one video does pop, you're more confident on camera. Your editing is better. Your color grading is better. Your guest selection or whatever is better, right? So that you're not, say, booked for a class tomorrow, like metaphorically, like, you got to go stand in front of 23,000 people and like do your thing. You may be a little nerve wracking. You may not be prepared for that next level, like your craft and stuff like that. But if you've been putting in work, 20, 30 videos, and then a joint goes viral, and then you're asked to talk in front of like thousands, tens of thousands of people now, you could do it a little bit more comfortably. But again, you got to get these reps in. You can't be scared to be mid in public, so to speak. And to be honest, nobody really cares. I mean, like, to you, your work will be mid. To you, your work will have gaps in it and holes in it and not be as great as you want it to be. But to other people, especially if you're just giving out value, whether it's advice or just creating or sharing a passion with people, I think for the most part, they're here with you. They're here to go on a journey with you. Another thing, something that Gary Vaynerchuk said years ago. I haven't watched him in years, but he was like, document, don't create. Instead of you waiting until your life is at this perfect point where you're comfortable creating, you're comfortable on camera, you can talk to people now, whatever, you can hold people's attention. Instead of waiting for that, you should take people on the journey with you, right? Document your journey of being mid or bad or awkward, whatever, wherever you start, and then take them on that journey of getting a little bit better this week, and then getting a little bit better in a couple more weeks. And then a few months in a row, you're a little bit more better, a little bit more polished. And he was like, people appreciate that journey because they can connect with that. It's not that people can't connect with, say I discover somebody on YouTube and he or she has 50 million followers and they're polished and their content looks like a film and stuff like that. It's not that you can't connect with that as a beginner, but it can sometimes be intimidating because you're like, man, like, they really been putting in work. I've wasted, 5 years just thinking about what I want to put out. And they're so far ahead of me. And it's not that you can't absorb from that person. Of course you can. You can learn a lot of things from that person. But you may connect a little bit better with somebody that's just 2 steps ahead of you, or maybe just 1 step ahead of you. Like they just got their camera last week and you're watching their first video. You're not watching their first video for perfection because of the cinematography. You're watching it because, one, the message has to be good and connect with you. But you may be like, yo, I want to be 1 step ahead. I want to be 1 step further than I am right now. I want to get out there and, get my first camera and shoot my first video and make it awkward and stuff like that and just put it out there because I know if I can continue to do this, if I continue to put these steps together, eventually I'll be where I want to be, right? At least closer to that point where I want to be. So don't be afraid to put awkward work out. You have to put some work out there. You have to consume less, produce more, and don't be afraid to put your worst work out now because it can only get better from here on out. So your action step for this right here is to create something simply for you. Don't put it out. If you want to put it out, put it out. But I've suggested this to a few people before where it's like, yo, just get into the action of just get into the repetition. If you want to create YouTube videos, don't create the video thinking that you have to put it out today. And I say put it out as is, right? Because that's how you learn faster. But even if you shot 2 to 3 videos per week and only you saw it, I think that's just as valuable. Because instead of you just sitting on the sideline and thinking about it, you can shoot the video with no intention on putting it out. Shoot the video, watch the video, edit the video, color grade, do the other things you have to do for the video to make it look the way you want it to look. But don't put it out. It's simply for you. And I know you see the benefit of this. Guy's about to say, you may not see the benefit of it. You see the benefit of it. You understand the concept. Right? If somebody wanted to be a basketball player, I always use a basketball analogy. They may be, let's say they made the team. Instead of them just showing up to play basketball on game day, they should probably put in some reps when there's no crowd in the gym. They should probably shoot the ball and work on their handles when nobody's in the gym, so that when it is game day, they perform a little bit better, or they won't be as trash as, they won't be trash. So it's the same thing with your skill set of creating videos for YouTube. Create videos, but don't put them out. These are strictly for you and strictly for you getting these reps and building these skill sets of communication, the storytelling, the editing, color grading, all that stuff, because those stuff are important too. And half of this stuff, the creative process, or you becoming an athlete, probably the very least half of the things that you have to do to be at an elite level or the level you're comfortable with, most people will never be privy to that information or will know your routine. So it's the same thing here. They're not really going to know about your color grading, your shot selection, your studio, how you set that up, your storytelling, the notes you've taken. They're not going to know all that. They'll see the finished product, part of the process, which is fine. But there are things that you have to do, when you're by yourself, right? When there's no crowd, when there's no viewers, to get you to that next level, right? And to make you at least proficient in the thing that you say you want to do. So just create something, not to put it out, but create videos for you to watch and use as film, right? Resource material to make yourself better. All right, next let's talk about what's really going on, what may be going on. I think most of the things we just talked about were like mental, right? Or philosophy driven, like how to think, right? And how to get yourself to take action. One thing I don't think you can subtract from the equation is your biology. Now, I'm not going to get too scientific. I'm not going to become, your personal trainer right now. But one thing you got to realize is that our bodies, it's a vehicle, right? Similar to any other vehicle. You have to take care of it if you want it to take care of you. So you may be feeling stuck, not because of any of those things I said before, which for the most part, I think those do apply. But you may be stuck because you're tired. You're sleepy, right? You're being driven off for 2 hours of sleep, stress, and caffeine and cigarettes. You understand what I'm saying? Now, your body can go, especially if you're somewhat passionate about a topic, right? Matter of fact, that was the point I wanted to make earlier. I kind of got lost. Being passionate about a topic. Yes, you can be passionate about something, but I actually feel like there's going to be bumps in the road where you're not passionate for right now. I mean, it could be days, weeks, or months where you don't feel as passionate, so you can't depend on passion to get you through the whole journey. Sometimes you just got to use, a skill or a ritual or routine to get you through. That was my point for, that was my point for, a couple moments ago, but that applies here too. You can't use passion to just sort of like push your way through everything. Sometimes you got to slow down a little bit, man. You got to like relax and find a rhythm. Let me not get too far ahead of myself, right? But you may just be tired. You may just need a really good night's sleep or a couple nights sleep to make you fresh again, to give you sort of like depth of emotion again. Because when you're tired, man, it's hard to feel. Sometimes you're aggravated. You're not as focused. You cut corners. There's a lot of things that you could do to consciously or subconsciously sabotage yourself. You know what I mean? So in addition to consuming less and creating more, take care of your body, man. Take care of your vehicle, because it's the thing that you have to push you through, to get you through the hurdles, right? And those milestones, you don't have to, but like just be healthy and sort of like make that a creative thing too, where it's like, all right, what are the things that I could do creatively? What kind of ritual can I put together to make sure I'm getting enough sleep? You know what I'm saying? So biology, don't forget the biology. Don't forget your neurological system when it comes to feeling stuck, because you may not be stuck as far as skill. You may just be stuck emotionally because you're stuck physically, right? And this sort of perpetual sleepiness, right, that you feel all day. So get over that. Eat a little bit better, sleep a little bit better, get some sunshine, get some fresh air. And I can almost guarantee you that it'll sort of like release a lot of the creativity that you feel is stuck right now. This next thing is something that I've experienced in my career as well, is you may have outgrown the way you used to create. When I started in 2004, I've been creating since early 2000s, but I mean, like, it evolved, right? At about 2014 is when I switched my creative medium, right? And that was an exciting time. And then it became, I want to say it became a job, but it became, okay, like I understand the skill set now. Now I'm at a different level of this relationship with my art, right? It didn't get stale, it didn't get boring. Similar to a relationship. It's like when you first get into a relationship, there's the butterflies, everything is perfect. And then you get into the real relationship, maybe a year or two down the road, where it's like, not that you don't have the butterflies, but it's like, it's a real relationship now. Like ups, downs, good, bad, ugly. I'm in it to win it. If I want to be in this relationship, I got to be in it to win it, right? So similar with your artistry, man, is that you may have just outgrown how you used to create. Whether that's medium, meaning like, maybe you did graphic design and then you went to photography and then you went to videography and now you're doing AI. Whatever whenever those evolutions happen, you may still be trying to create like you created 5 or so years ago, when you need to create a little bit differently now. And again, maybe it's a new medium, maybe it's a new mindset, right? We all evolve hopefully every few years or so. Our minds change, our lives change, our circumstances and possibilities evolve. So we sometimes have to evolve with them. Doesn't mean, doing what you used to do isn't the right thing, because that could be it too. Could just be like, stick to the script, one foot in front of the other. But sometimes you got to evolve, and you're not allowing your body or your mind to evolve into this next level or next phase of your creativity, right? So you feel stuck, right? I've kind of been going through that myself somewhat recently, where it's like, when I first started, I was doing strictly photos or portraits, and then that turned into more video-based things, and then interviews, and then, let me try this AI, let me try this other medium out. And going back to my, one of our first points, I was trying too many things, so to speak. But I can't say it was a bad thing, because it got me to where I am now. But I realized I was like, man, I used to create this way. I used to do interviews, but it's been so many years or so much time since I've really done an interview. Is that even my passion anymore? Is that what I need to be doing at this point? And in my personal situation, it was like, yes, reconnect with that. But reconnect with that. In addition, you reconnect with those old skills and passions I had, and mesh that with the new things that I've learned. Because I'm, 10 or 11 years older now. Right? I've got 10 or 11 more years of experience now than I had back then. So it's like mesh that. So, whatever is worth, if you need to reconnect with the old you, your old way of creating, do that. But don't be surprised if you need to evolve with the way you're creating and the way you're putting stuff out there. If you need to be more of a DJ and mix some things together to create something brand new or something you're proud of at this point in your life. And again, another thing too, this is going to evolve. This will also evolve. This may be who you are right now, but a year or two up the road with more experiences and different things that have happened and successes and failures, that's going to evolve too. So be okay with the evolution of your craft. And my takeaway is to do something physical. Yes, art is mental or is mostly psychological or whatever. But our bodies affect the way we experience life, even down to our art or our craft. So do something physical, exercise, go for a walk, sleep more, do intermittent fasting, switch up your diet, go meatless every other day, hit the sauna, go to the gym, start boxing, do Muay Thai, do jiu-jitsu. Just get into your body more. And I'll say, I'll pretty much guarantee it, but I'm pretty sure that if you get into your body more, this is going to translate to your creativity, because you just walk around with, a greater sense of well-being and more patience with yourself. That's one thing I found too. The more physical I am, if I'm exercising and stretching, I know I'm taking care of my body, my vessel, right, my temple. And that makes me more creative, because it opens up more doors and more thought processes and more creativity. And I don't have this sense of like stress of like, I gotta put it out. What if it's not perfect? What if all these endless thoughts? What are the comments gonna say? What are they gonna think? But it's like, if I just handle my business, which is like my body, and handle that, my creativity will be top notch relatively, right? Because again, nobody's art is global enough to where like every person in the world likes it. Nobody, don't care what it is, right? No athlete, no artist, no speaker, whatever. So it's like, it just has to be good enough for me and the community that I'm creating the stuff for or with. Because you should create for yourself first, but that should be the goal, right? And so get into your body more, be more active, right? Take care of your health, get more sleep, eat better, so that you can open more doors for creativity and feeling good about your process and your journey. And then last but not least, man, how do we get unstuck? I mean, I pretty much mentioned most of these things before, but to sum it all up, you got to get yourself a ritual, man. You got to get yourself into rhythm. I think rhythm has been like my favorite word, like the past 3 months, getting into rhythm, right? This is January 2026. I'm putting out a bunch of videos now, but it's not because I decided in January to start doing this. I started getting into the mix probably October and November of 2025, where I was like, by January 2026, I want to be in a rhythm. Doesn't mean I wanted everything to be perfect or want 1 million subscribers, $1 million a month, whatever. Don't get me wrong, that would be nice too. What I mean is I sort of think about the rhythm. What I want my day to look like. One thing you always hear life coaches, life hack coaches or productivity coaches, stuff like that tell you is that, you live your life one day at a time. Like, even though you have goals, 10-year goals for your family, goals for your creativity, for your body, stuff like that. Those may be years or weeks or months or whatever away. But you have to live that one day at a time. And I know it sounds cliche, but it's true. You know it's true. You got to live it one day at a time. And that day you have to live morning, evening, and afternoon, and evening. That's what makes up your day. Each one of those three, those part of those days, the afternoon, you have to live that 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock. Right? The evening, you live that hour by hour, minute by minute. Right? You get the point. So it's like, even though you have this grandiose goal to do these big things, what do you want your day to look like as you're experiencing, this extra income, this partner that you found in life, and stuff like that? What does that look like? What does my day look like? And once you can get down to the day with some fine detail, because it's hard to hold sort of like not faith, but like detail about something that doesn't exist yet. But if you can start to incorporate, what it sounds like, what it smells like, what it looks like, the places that you guys are going, the conversations you're having, the things you're laughing about. When you could do that, I think it builds your faith more, which can push you to get the things done that you need to do to manifest this thing. So it's like, look at your journey in the same way. You need a ritual. You need a rhythm, right? And what does that look like? Well, I can use myself for an example. It means I create 3 videos a week as of now. And again, this can evolve. I need to create 3 videos per week. I also need to hit the sauna 4 days a week. And I need to exercise, right? I need to make sure I get enough sleep. I need to do intermittent fasting so that I'm not digesting food all day and making myself tired. So I don't eat until, say, maybe 1 or 2. And then the meals that I do eat, they're going to be nutritious meals. And I'm going to eat more fruits and vegetables and nuts and seeds and stuff like that, right? It means because I'm at my job right now, it means before I start my work, let me come in here, keep everything set up, and record my videos. I've been limiting my time. This would be another video, but like, I don't give myself all day to do something. I give myself the time I have here between, say, 4:30 and 5:30, that 1 hour. I'm going to sit down and I'm going to create this just for the sake of creating. And doing all these things, right? Because only you know your ritual. Only you can put together your rhythm. But doing these things will get you into a rhythm. And this rhythm, look at the rhythm like the run we talked about earlier. The rhythm is just one foot in front of the other. When you first start to run, so that means all manual, but like it could be tough getting up to gear, right? Getting up to speed. But then after your first mile and a half, or 2 miles, you get into a rhythm. Now that you're further along your journey, now here comes the challenges. There's the hills, there's the uneven ground, there's the detour you had to get around, right? There's the roadblock. But because you're in rhythm and you're putting these reps in and you have these mental cues that you rely on to get you through these hurdles, because you can do all this and you're putting one foot in front of the other and you're in rhythm, it flows, man. And you can sort of absorb from that journey instead of like you feeling so beat up and bothered by the imperfection of the road, of the journey. Because you're in rhythm, you realize it's okay. And you know that if you keep putting one foot in front of the other, if you create this ritual, create this routine and stick to it, the morning ritual, the afternoon ritual, the evening ritual, if you stick to these and stitch enough of these together, again, I can almost guarantee you that you will hit your journey, you will hit your goals, you will create the life that you want and experience the life that you want with grace and poise instead of stress and unfulfillment. You know what I'm saying? So I hope this helps y'all. As always, ABC, always be creating, and I'll see you on the next video. Peace.